There's a war coming, and it's going to involve all of the Robins. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read it automatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This is a massive crossover that recently just ended that involves Damian Wayne, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and all of the We Are Robin crew. So let's get started. Recently, there have been a group of kids taking up the mantle of Robin across Gotham City. Batman has been missing ever since Endgame, and Robin has been nowhere to be found. So they felt the name needed to live on and represent citizens willing to go above and beyond. Recently, they caused an explosion that leveled a building, and the new robotic Batman told them that they needed to stop. But it hasn't stopped them. More and more kids are stepping up, which brings us to today. A young boy is standing in a liquor store proud of himself for stopping a robbery and telling the clerk, "I am Robin!" But that's when a police officer comes into the store and sees a man on the ground, and the young boy in Robin colors standing there holding a gun. The robber got up in a hurry, and the cop tried to stop him, and in the confusion of it all, the young boy shot the police officer and the robber. As he stood there over the two dead men, he tried to comfort himself by telling himself, "I am Robin. I'm Robin. I am Robin." The situation grew out of control quickly, with the police going against these teenage vigilantes. The city council even passed an anti-Robin law, and the kids began getting beat up for wearing Robin's colors. It is now against the law in Gotham to wear red or have an R in your clothing. Which brings us to Duke as he walks the streets of Gotham talking to Rico. They are two members of the We Are Robin gang that has been involved in the recent events where they stopped the bombs, and they are talking about this recent Robin law. Rico explains that she was sent off to Gotham Academy because of this whole thing, and he tells her to lay low. Once this whole Robin law thing passes, her parents will calm down and send her home. That's when a police officer sees Duke's red shoes and asks him about them because they look very Robinish. Duke explains that he uses his shoes for walking, never running. He doesn't run, because running means that you're doing something wrong, officer, and that's the story of his shoes. So the officer slams Duke against a cop car and tells him, "Red means Robin, and in Gotham, Robin means you're under arrest, smart guy." Duke waits for the car to be passing over a bridge, and then he slips out of the cuffs and jumps out of the car into the bay shouting, "I am Robin!" Meanwhile, elsewhere, Jason Todd, otherwise known as Red Hood, otherwise known as a former Robin, gets a phone call from an old friend, Tim Drake, otherwise known as Red Robin. He explains what's going on in Gotham for these Robin kids, and Jason comments that it really doesn't affect Tim. He went with the whole Red Robin thing, wings and all. So it really doesn't matter. These Robin kids should figure out the whole thing on their own. That's what a real Robin would do. And Tim tells him the real Robin is here already. Jason realizes that this means Damian Wayne has returned home. He must be taking matters into his own hands with his father missing. And that's exactly what's happening, as Duke gets the Robins together for a meeting in which they decide that they're going to stand up to the police and tell them, "We are Robin!" Damian exclaims from the rafters, "That's moronic, you're not Robin, I am Robin!" They argue for a minute, but Damian leaves it up to them. "You are Robin, defend yourselves," and he begins to beat on the kids. Meanwhile, high above the streets of Gotham, the Bat Blimp is getting word that there is a riot forming in one of the old warehouses. Jim Gordon suits up in the Robo-Batman suit and he launches down into the scene, crashing through a window, causing all of the kids to pause and look at him. But it's Damian that steps up to this Batman. And who are you exactly? "I'm Batman." Damian looks to his right, and then he looks to his left to see if he's being pranked. "You have got to be kidding me." He jumps right in to fight against Batman, and he gets the upper hand easily, but eventually Batman gets one good hit in, throwing Damian aside. He wipes his mouth and he tells his Batman, "Enough! This is Gotham!" Which is where Batman and Robin with Commissioner Gordon on the rooftop and a bat signal in the air and a damn penguin flying around and a damn umbrella happen. As he talks, Batman gets closer, and then Damian grabs a loose electrical wire and tags Batman with it, shorting out the suit. All of the kids look at the triumphant Damian and realize he is Robin. And that's when Jason and Tim arrive. Hey, easy to kill Robin and easy to forget Robin. Tim jumps in. "Technically, you're both easy to kill, Robin. I should be the not so easily killed Robin, but with a cooler name." Damian tells them both to get out of his way. He's hunting Robins and he isn't gonna listen to them. But Jason tells him they know someone that he will listen to. Across the world, the first Robin, Dick Grayson, gets the call to come back to Gotham and join this situation. While later that night, the kid that started this whole thing gets a knife in his back from a Talon, one of the assassins of the Court of the Owls. And the court themselves make a comment that this is all going according to their plans. Dick Grayson is on his way home. Our next day starts strong, with every Robin in Gotham arriving to a gathering that the real Robins have arranged, and Damian telling them they aren't Robins, none of them. And Grayson, the first Robin, the one that started it all, tells the kids they aren't Robin. Damian's right, but we're gonna fix that. We're gonna train you to be real Robins. Welcome to Robin School. They train them fast and furious until eventually they need to use all of the Robins. Grayson decides they need information on this whole thing, what the police and the city council are planning. So he breaks Tim, Jason, and Damien into various groups, and he throws batches of the Robin kids with each of them. He then takes Duke high above the city to watch everything go down. And that's when it happens. The police arrive at every location in full force to arrest Tim, Jason, Damien, and every Robin kid. Then the police shine a light on Grayson and Duke realizes it was a setup. They knew they were coming. Grayson turns to Duke. "I have a transmitter on me that led the police to the location of every mission." Duke follows Grayson to the roof, and Grayson reveals he trained everyone so that he could gain control of the arrests and get everyone out of harm's way. "You manipulated us all! You just wanted to tuck us all away safe like we're your damn kids." Grayson smiles and he turns to Duke. "Batman once told me that being a Robin is about one thing: family, and I take care of my family." He then jumps off the side of the building, leaving Duke there to get arrested. All of the Robins get brought to some weird new prison system that was created by the city council. Something with suspended prison cells and the such. Jim Gordon as Batman stands there with Harvey Bullock asking the question, "Where's the due process? What is this? This isn't a normal arrest." He then notices some of the kids have black eyes and they look a little beaten up, and he asks who spoke to these kids without a legal guardian around. Jim Gordon is a Batman that works for the GCPD, and he doesn't like this one bit, so he decides he's going to get to the bottom of this whole thing himself. While this discussion is going on, Damian Wayne decides he'll figure out a way out of this, because there's only one Robin after all. Batman calls the city council to ask them where the due process is, but he's easily blown off, so he decides to take his suit and go to the home of one of the members of the city council to see if he can get more answers. Once he enters the home, he sees someone else had the same idea. Grayson is already there. Grayson throws Batman out the window and onto the fire escape. Batman can't even stay standing with how effective Grayson is at fighting, and he gets Batman down fast, so Batman goes to plan B. "Wait!" He lowers his mask and tells Grayson, "Stop! It's me! Talk to me!" Grayson turns and sees Jim Gordon. "Kinda figured it was you underneath that mask, but, well, you kinda snuck up on me." I know the cops are rounding up the Robins as they are told, instead of figuring out what's really going on. This whole thing feels like a setup, Jim. I went through the officer's place and I spoke to his friends. Nothing is adding up. Don't you get it, Grayson? This was inevitable. Vigilantes and the police? How many times did I almost fight you back when I was a lieutenant? But something is off. "Well, I'm gonna go with you to figure this out. We're on the edge of something, Jim." And Batman and Grayson jump off to solve this. Meanwhile, back at the cells, a mystery person calls the officers away, leaving him alone with the kids. And Jason realizes who's behind this right away, as another kid is in shock, stating they can't be real. It's the Court of the Owls, and they've just revealed themselves. While Batman and Grayson are following the clues and starting to ask the right questions, like where did the GCPD get the funding to build that prison? And why are there owl statues in all of the buildings that they visit? The court begins to push their plans further by taking Jason and Tim out of their cages and telling them that they will fight to the death as the court is looking for their new Gray son. Damian panics as he realizes his brothers are about to fight it out, and Tim looks to Jason. "You've been waiting for this." "Never been a patient man, Tim." And they begin to go at it. Both are evenly matched as Jason throws everything into it and Tim dodges and then trips up Jason. Tim gets a shot across Jason's face and Jason slams him into the wall. How could two men trained by Batman possibly beat each other? They can't, and they won't, as Jason throws Tim over the cells and the kids grab him by the ankles and then fling him to Damian's cell. The momentum of swinging each cell slams them into each other, which gives Tim more momentum to go higher and higher until he gets to where the lever that controls all of the cells is located, and then he opens them. The Robins all jump out with Damian leading the way, and the combined might of every Robin allows them to overtake the court. Tim lands next to Jason. If we're keeping count, that stunt I just pulled off should firmly put me on top. Dick could have probably done it in less time. With that, everyone begins to make a break for the rooftops, but as they get to the top of the building, they see a lot of Talons ready to stop them. They all jump in ready to fight against the Talons, though some of them freeze in fear from the hidden society being a real thing. The Talons are better trained than the Robin kids, but luckily, Damian redirects one of their attacks to a series of explosive barrels. Meanwhile, Grayson has followed the trail down into the Court of Owls headquarters, and he is battling some Talons of his own. Back with the Robin kids, the ceiling caves in from the explosion, and everyone grabs some of the cell chains to prevent themselves from falling to the bottom floor, successfully giving them enough time to get everyone out of the GCPD and the prison building. Damian runs off ahead of everyone, and Red Robin, Jason, and Duke tell all of the other children that they haven't been trained properly, so go home. They'll train them all when this is over. And then, Jason, Tim, and the We Are Robin crew all get to work. They follow Rico to the location of one of the Talons that she followed back when it attacked Gotham Academy, and conveniently, it's the Court of the Owls base. Just at that moment, Batman comes crashing through the wall in his robotic suit. The machines in the center of the room begin to hatch the elite Talons, the best of the best and the worst of the assassins. Batman begins to blow up the central hatching device, and everyone begins to make a break for it down into some tunnels, while Batman calls in the GCPD to clean up these terrorists. Meanwhile, Grayson has made it to the central room of the Court of the Owls building, and inside, he finds Lincoln March. The same Lincoln March from the Night of the Owls in the Batman Eternal saga. Grayson tells him that it's over, but Lincoln explains that this whole thing was to get their son back. Dick Grayson was originally intended to be in the Court of the Owls, and Batman prevented it. So they arranged this entire ordeal to bring Grayson back to Gotham and get him to join them. But they don't need him anymore because they have their new Gray Son. And that's when we see Damian Wayne with a Court of the Owls mask and a small band of elite talons guarding the exit out of the tunnels, preventing the kids from escaping. He tells everyone that he's fixed it. It's time to go home. You have no idea what has happened and what you are facing or what I have done to save you all. Duke puts it together. I get it. They locked us all up and tried to kill us to try and get one of us to join them. And one of us did. Jason looks him over. Pal, you are standing with a bunch of monsters wearing an owl mask. I don't think this is over. And everyone jumps in to fight it out some more. Meanwhile, Grayson is looking on a monitor at Damian wearing the mask and he turns to Lincoln. How? Lincoln explains that when Damian broke away from the cages, he ran into their inner sanctum and he fought against the elite talons. The elites are a failsafe. In case the court ever lost the city, the elites would destroy what had been lost. Damian saw that everyone would die, and in that everyone, so would the currently amnesiac Bruce Wayne, Damian's father. They offered to put their talons back in their coffins if Damian would take Grayson's place. And he did, to save the city, his family, and his father. Meanwhile, Damian is beating down Jason Todd until it's just Tim and Damian. Tim tells him that he doesn't want to fight him. He just wants to understand this isn't right. He's Robin. You don't get it, Tim. It's fairly obvious after all of this. I'm not Robin. And then he drops Tim. He then takes out all 6 of the We Are Robin kids and declares it's done. But Duke gets up one more time. Duke and Damian begin fighting it out, and Damian asks, why can't Duke leave him alone? I'm only doing what Batman did, what Batman had to do. I'm making the sacrifice that Batman made. While they're fighting it out, dozens of kids are jumping onto the battlefield shouting, I am Robin! And they all begin a hopeless battle against the elite talons. Duke then jumps in to keep fighting against Damian. I figured you out just like I figured out Grayson. You're Damian Wayne, son of Bruce Wayne, son of Batman, the son he doesn't remember. To beat something, he sacrificed his memory. Your dad didn't think of his family, his responsibilities. And on that note, they both continue their battle as Duke continues his speech. Your dad sacrificed everything. He sacrificed you, and you're trying to do the same thing. You don't know me, kid. I don't think you know you. Back with Grayson, he begins to beat down Lincoln March, and that's when Lincoln tells him, if you try and shut us down, we'll kill the kid. His mask has a nano bomb in it that has been slowly sinking into his skin since he put it on. Back with Duke and Damian, they continue going at it, but Duke lays it out for Damian. These kids, my family all around us fighting the talents, they were inspired, just like you were by your father. So I get it. I get you want to sacrifice yourself and give up on my family. But here's the thing. I'm not Robin. You are! Damian considers it. And he considers that Duke is right. He throws the owl mask aside and he jumps in to begin saving the kids, the Robin gang. Rico runs up to Duke's side as he is now on the ground in a bloody mess, and she tells him, we're doing it. We're winning. We are doing it. And while this battle is going on, Lincoln makes another offer to Grayson. Join them, and they will make the Robin laws go away, pull the police back, and let Damian go on living. Much later, with the elite talons defeated by the Robin gang, Damian and Batman, Jason, Tim, Damian, and Grayson all went back to the Batcave. They can't believe what Grayson did. He betrayed them and left them to fight for themselves. But he tells them he did it for them because he would have done it for all of them. Duke went out with his friends and they went to the grave of one of the boys that was lost, and he told them, they aren't Robin, not yet. They aren't ready to be Robin, before he walked off. He heads down an alley and he calls out Damian for stalking him, telling him that he can just come out and say hi. Damian lands in front of him. I'm Robin. I don't say hi. They stare at each other. Fine. Hi. You want to go see a movie, Damian? I don't see movies. I'm Robin. You said that about saying hi. Fine. But I'm not getting popcorn. I'm Robin. That's when we finally see the arrangement that Grayson made to save everyone, as the Court of the Owls welcomes him back into the fold, to the Parliament of the Owls. He is their newest member. Now, if you want to follow Grayson in his new role, go check out Grayson issue 16. We Are Robin issue 8 follows Duke and the Robin gang, and Robin, son of Batman, follows what Damian did in Gotham. If you want to follow Batman Bruce Wayne in the robot version, Batman number 49 and 50 will give you the return of Bruce Wayne in that continued adventure. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time right here at Comicstorian.